What led you to choose this field of study, and how did you become interested in it?
Yeah, so before I answer, the other recording cut out, so that's why we're just doing a second one. But the reason I chose finance was I was first introduced to it from my parents. They're both in the business industry. My dad's in finance, and my mom's in accounting. And I was always had a numbers type background. I was always into math and science, but I know I didn't really want to do engineering or like chemistry or kind of like major in math. And what really stood out to me about business was kind of like the entrepreneurial mindset and how a lot of people I knew or looked up to in terms of role models were all in business. And that's kind of what drew me to business and the Kelley School in general. Yeah.
Give an example of a time when you had to go above and beyond to get the job done.
Yeah, so an example of a time I had to go above and beyond to get the job done. Okay. I would say a great example of this was F210 this summer, or this fall. I think that the class was super challenging in terms of the things I had to learn. They were like by far the hardest class I've ever taken before, and on the midterm I didn't do as well as I thought I would do. I did around like the 50th percentile, which isn't great in terms of like getting into the workshop. But for the final, I really had to hone in and study for multiple weeks and really put my head down and like kind of grind like I haven't done in college before. And I was able to do a lot better on the final, and I think that that's one of the reasons why I got into the seminar. And I would say that's an example of a time that I really went above and beyond.
All right. What was the last movie or show you watched that impacted you, and why?
Yeah, so the last show I watched that really impacted me was probably Suits. Something about Suits that I really liked was kind of how confident both the main characters were in their abilities. So I think that that's something that show really impacted me because I would watch it in terms of like whenever I watched it, I would be more confident in myself, mainly because of the way that the characters carry themselves. So yeah.
All right. Can you give me an example of how you work under pressure?
Yeah, so I would say a good example of this would be, or I can't, a good example would probably be, let me think, like application deadlines. I would say that for the investment banking workshop in specific, we had an application deadline. I think it was on a Monday, and up until the application, I was studying for the test, so I didn't have much time to do it, and I only had a day or two to really put out a really good application in terms of the essays. And something that kind of exemplifies how I work under pressure was I was able to, whenever I'm under pressure, I kind of lock in more and focus more because it's more stressful. And I think that while other people might crumble and like kind of give up, I'm someone who does the exact opposite. So yeah.
Great. Can you tell me about your experience working with and or serving diverse populations?
Yeah. So an example of this is definitely my like internship last summer. All my bosses were women, and in the like workforce, that's obviously like diversity. And I'd say that I didn't treat them any differently. I think in